The video you are watching now is the third part of our tutorial. This part mainly explains the management of our program and the function of our animation editing effects and animation editing effects. Let's first take a look at the window of the program. In the program window, we can see that by default, there is a program and a background animation. When we select the program, first, delete this. When we select the program, we can see that there is a parameter that can be set. This is the number of times this program is played. When we add another program, we will see that the number of plays is 5. What about the playback speed? 25 frames. 25 frames per second. Speed, double speed, or the default value, or 8 times. When you select a number, the larger the number, the faster the playback speed will be. Okay, let's look at program 2. Once by default. If you only have one program, it will automatically loop infinitely. But if you have 2 or 3 or 4 programs like this, okay, we can set the number of times each program plays. For example, I set program 1 to play 5 times once or 3 times, and program 3 once, based on the data of the number of plays. To loop, to play it from the beginning to the end, the content of our program. Okay, let's take a look at the program function to add programs, which I have just introduced. To add such a program, let's take a look at delete program. When we select this program, click delete. It will be directly deleted. To add such a program, okay, let's take a look again of a partition animation. Okay, let's select this program. We directly click add. It will be added to our program. To add such an animation, this animation is a partition animation. As the name suggests, we can use the box of this area. In this layout scene, anywhere, to insert the animation effect you want. For example, if I want to make a flowing effect, we can see from the external display of the color wheel. When we preview it, this area, that is to say, the animation area of our program, it will play this animation. Our background is still the original animation. When we preview it as a whole, let's click to see, we will find that this area is running some background images. For this area, we can set it as an independent area. An animation effect. Behind this animation, we added a text. For the text, its principle is the same as our partition animation. We can add the content of the picture. To add content to our picture. Okay, let's add our text here. For this text, we can enter the content of the text. And we can also set its font. Generally, we choose a thicker stroke, which will be easier to display or clearer. Okay, here is a direction. We can play it from top to bottom to play it, or from left to right, or in a horizontal or vertical arrangement. Here is the color of our text. We can choose, select the corresponding color. For example, change the red color to green. When we preview it, we will find that the text will appear in green. Okay, let's take a look here. Here is the movement of our text. Direction of the movement, we can keep it static, without any movement processing. Okay, here, we can change it to move right or left. Click confirm, and it starts to move left. Okay, let's take a look here again. Here is the speed. The smaller the value, the slower it plays. The larger the number, the faster it plays. Okay, let's take a look here again. Here is an animation effect. What is the function of this? Let's take a look. We select the text area. We can directly, which was just a pure color fill, right? If we choose this special effect, we can import some specific materials here. Specific materials such as SWF or TOL materials, we can directly click in. At this time, we preview it, you will find that our text can do some animations and flow while walking. This is such a function. Okay, let's take a look at this delete. If we want to delete it, for example, I just click to delete it, and it can be directly deleted. We can also delete our text. Click to delete, and it will delete our text. Okay, pause and delete it. Select the object. Okay, and it will be deleted directly. Let's take a look again. There is also an option to add text and animation, which can be adjusted directly. Finally, there is a right-click function. We can select the order of the program. For example, We choose the jump transition and add a partition effect. Now there are two animations, one for the partition and the background animation. Right? We can directly use this to adjust this position. Say, the order of the program playback has been modified. Okay, let's take a look at this animation again and text editing. The function of the partition. For each program, we can add up to. There are 7 animation and text partitions. It has an up and down, a background animation, and 7 animation partitions, or 7 text partitions. Next, let's introduce the background animation class, a function of customizing and editing animations. First, we select the background animation. At this time, we can see in this window, there is a custom animation editing. In our edit menu, there is also a custom animation editing. We usually use this button. Just click it. It will pop up a dialog box. At this time, the first step we do, we need to adjust the grid size. In this view, to adjust the size of the grid, we usually choose 2 or 1. In this way, the smaller the grid, when we edit the animation effect will be more delicate. Okay, let's take a look at this menu bar first. Okay, the menu bar. After clicking on it, there is a delete frame and a copy frame. Copy frames here. As I just mentioned, the display shape. We open it. It will show our layout. The position of the pixel points, a reference. If I turn it off, then the reference will disappear. We usually turn it on. I just introduced the size grid here, the size setting action. Let's take a look at the toolbar here. Here is to complete the editing. And then exit. Here is add frame. We usually add a blank frame, or a single 1,000 frames. We can add it according to the situation on site. And we can add it as needed. Here is select. We click select all. The purpose of selecting all is to select all our grids. After we select all, we can do some animation. And the editing actions. Inverse selection means if you select all, then we click invert, which means unselecting all if we select a part. Such as selecting this area, we press the Shift key, and then use the mouse to drag and drop. After selecting this area, at this time, let's look at the inverse selection. You can see exactly what we have selected. A full selection and an inverse selection we can see function. A very obvious feature. At this time, we can directly cancel it. Let's take a look at this area again. Here is full off. Let's first look at full brightness. All on means all pixels are on. When you don't make a region selection, all the pixels are lit up. This one is full. It is full when we are. When editing animation, we need to perform a full on or full off switch. For example, if we select an area, and then click full bright, at this time, it selects a grid within the selected area. It will all light up. The light is defaulted to white. If you want to choose another color, I'll teach you later. In the later functions, I'll teach you how to use it. Let's take a look at the play and pause buttons here. The play is the same as the video preview function. It's the same. It can play and pause. Then, this is a drag block. Here, you can select the playback speed. The fastest is 30. The slowest is 1. Here, when we preview each frame, we can drag and drop here. During the animation process, we can see the most accurate data of each frame. Here is the total number of frames. The total number of frames. Which frame in the total number of frames? Let's take a look at the one on the left. Function window. This is the manual operation. The manual operation is the most commonly used in our effects. For example, we want to do a simple translation. You can choose here. Let's see what the effect of the push is like. When we do the panning, we can choose 2 ways. One is a single color, which is a constant translation method. We can choose any color. For example, I choose white translation. We can choose an operation instruction here. The instruction is this D, which is the letter D on our keyboard. When we press the D key, at this time, we can only use English keys. It will work. No. Using Chinese keys, half width and full width. We can call the keyboard. At this time, when we press the D, it will automatically generate a white translation. Why don't we see it displayed? Because the area we selected. Okay, let's cancel it. Select to clear all the pins here. Okay, let's do it again. Without any grid selection, we select the push, then select the color. OK, we press R. Click this position with the mouse button. It will automatically push forward frame by frame. Each frame will add a frame here. When playing, we can see that frame by frame, it's overlapping. If we want to operate quickly, we can use the keyboard to replace it with AD. The step of our mouse click just now, it will push forward directly. If we finish pushing, we want it to turn black. At this time, we can select black and push it forward again. This is to duplicate this thing and push it forward again. It means the effect we are doing, it's the effect of a white light. It will be covered backward frame by frame. To turn off all the LED lights. Okay, let's take a look again. It can move up and down. I won't introduce it in detail here. Okay, let's take a look here. There is a row and column and a brush. We'll talk about this function later. First, if we click the full light, we select a certain color. This color, if the grid area has not been selected, if we click on this area with the mouse, we will find that at this time all the grids will be lit up. It will light up all the grids into a single color. We have a gradient effect here. Suppose we have a color palette like this. When we click the mouse, every time we click, it will automatically jump one stitch bar, which is a negative value of 1 pixel. Let's test it. Just click it directly. Its color is slowly changing. When it changes, although there is a change, but the needle does not increase. At this time, we are asking you to choose. To choose a color you need. That's what it means. Normally, it's the one we just mentioned. A standard pattern for each grid. So for this row mode, every time we click, we turn them all black first. Select all lit. Okay, we'll click here to turn off all. And then click on the raw. What does raw represent? If we choose white or pink, every click, it will select this raw for processing. When we click on the columns, when we click on each column, it will perform an operation. It will perform a copy operation. This is the operation of rows and columns. Click all to light up. Okay, that's about it. Then look at the second one here. The effect is to move symmetrically from the middle. Okay, let's choose a transition value effect. We turn it off. Let's see how the effect looks now. Is the effect we selected correct? Let's choose this one. We choose the middle symmetric movement here, right? Right, we choose A. It moves directly from both sides to the middle. Then, we choose D. At this time, is from the middle to both sides. Okay, and then our upward movement, C, is from both sides to the middle. And then from the middle to both sides. This is also for different effects. We can choose. There are many other effects in it. You can all try them. For example, we choose a color for the skew movement. When we move, we can see that we are moving from left to top. This is the effect. Then we can move it from left to right, from top to bottom. Can be set in this keyboard. It will automatically generate. If we want to process a certain area to process, then we can turn off all of them. Let's select a certain area. For example, let's select the lower part of this stroke. Okay, we press the Shift key and click the mouse box. Okay, this is the area we have selected. When selecting this area, we can do some other complex effects. We can directly select it. We just selected the diagonal color palette effect. We press D to confirm. Have you noticed all our effects move are only applied to the selected square? Be sure to note that. Select the effect that runs in this area. Okay, this is the part of manual animation. Function. Let's look down here. Here is a color palette. And there are some built-in effects to choose from. For the built-in effects, we just double-click on it. This is in the software itself. If these things still cannot satisfy you, we can click on the color palette. You can operate some effects yourself to show an animation. We can choose a gray value here. Say, the higher the gray level, the more delicate the effect will be. Well, we can clearly see that there is a custom gray level here. We can choose a starting color. For example, if we want to make a transition of a color, we use yellow for the start and end of yellow. Okay, the order of the generated here is the gray value. We can leave it blank here. Let's choose 28. We generate again. This is the order. There will be a 28 level. A thing of 28 gray levels will appear. Okay, let's generate it first. Directly. After we click generate, we click add directly here. Let's clear it first. After we clear it, we need to generate it again and add it. This is such a transition. If we reverse the direction, we click continue. We add the color palette again. At this time, we go from red to yellow, yellow to red. It forms a circular color transition. Transition effect. We click confirm again. It will generate a color palette of our pixels. If we are not satisfied with the effect, or we want to change to another effect, click on the color palette work. We can also import some other color palettes. The effect can also save the current effect. For example, we can change to 15 and change to another color. Transition from red to yellow in 28 steps. And save it. Okay, let's select another effect. Okay, add it to the color palette. We can clear all and add it again. We are not satisfied with the effect at this time. Let's clear it first, right? Import the color palette. Okay, let's save this one. It's directly imported. Then save it here. And here is import. This is an operation of the color palette. When we confirm the color palette option is confirmed, let's take a look again. There is a function of color will invalid. When we select the color will invalid, we can select a single color. We only copy color blocks and single solid colors. To make a copy, for example, we do a push. A function of sweeping from the upper left corner to below. At this time, we select the color palette valid. We choose a color transition effect. I'll push it back. Or directly press D to push it up. At this time, we suddenly make this color ineffective. We select this color and remove it here. At this time, it only operates on the color block currently selected. To perform a color operation, however, we can choose this single color here, which can also be handled. When we cancel this and select a color block, let's take a look. It's the same according to the settings. And copy it from front to back. Collect and move forward. This is the function of the color palette being invalid. The function of this option. This is often used when a certain color, you suddenly wanted to keep this color. When we want to achieve a certain effect, this is a function we often use. Okay, let's take a look again. Here is a menu. Do you see it? As we just mentioned, this is a delete frame. What about deleting frames? We can directly select a new one to delete. For example, if our entire effect has 7, then we can select the first and the last frame to delete all of them. We can also choose the effect inside. For example, in this effect, we are seeing the black one in front now. And we don't want it to have this effect. We can directly come here, okay? Move a little further forward. Look here. Okay, 430. We can delete 430 frames here. All the previous effects. Click OK. Let's look at the first stitch of our hand. Starts from here. And the last stitch is like this. Let's play it again. Let's play it again to see. Let's pause it. This is to delete the needle. As for the copied needle, we have several ways. One is to select all and copy. If we want to keep the most recent frame, the 37th and 60th frame effect, we can directly click copy current and confirm. Let's paste it. When pasting, we can start from frame 377. The number of pastes represents how many times we need to copy. Okay, let's copy 60. Okay. Now we can see that there are 60 more frames here. Then our effect starts from here. When playing. Okay, run to here. It will stop at this place for 60 frames. After 60 frames are run, there will be a subsequent effect. Okay, let's take a look again. Operation. What about the duplicate operation? All the stitches. There is a hole. And a stick, which is a whole repetition. It means how many times all the frames repeat. Then the number of frames will automatically accumulate. Repeat twice. Now it's 34, 36. We click OK, right? It will become a multiple of itself. Okay, let's look at the repeat operation here. Here is a duplicate stitch. Click OK twice. Then it will increase all the frames, which increases by 2 more. Okay, let's look at the last frames. At this time, we clear all the animations. Clear all animations at once. Okay, let's take a look here. This is what we just talked about. Let's take a look here. Its last function is its special effect. Before selecting the special effect, we must select its color palette. This color palette, which is used to do many actions in the special effects, many of our effects. we need to use the color palette as a reference. For example, we choose this one color palette as a transition bio. Then we need to uncheck this option. We need to uncheck it. Click on the color special effect. For the first special effect, we need to select an effect. But you can also select all. We won't select all of them here. Let's look at the drop effect. We choose an animation material, such as the T or L effect. We choose a color square. Confirm. At this time, we will add all the effects in it. Just copy it in. The effect we see is just this area. We directly copy this animation. There is a jump change in this one. Let's take a look again. The jump change. So at this time, the jump change is the color block we just copied. Click on the color palette and select the jump change. OK, we click on the jump change. Speed is 1. Click OK. This color palette, all the needles, will directly follow our color palette to make a jump change. OK, let's start from here. OK, it starts all the color palettes to make a jump. Let's look here again. A flash. The flashing is a quick operation. We choose the same effect as before. OK. Here, we add more frames. Here. Look, it's flashing very quickly. The color transition we just had. Let's take a look at the function of the building blocks. For the building blocks, because its stacking effect is related to the density of the grid. So before we do this, we need to adjust the density of the grid. It's a strip. We adjust it to become our standard color block number 5. At this time, we generate its effect. Speed 10. OK, let's confirm the background. At this time, it will automatically generate an effect. Let's preview it. Or, it's different colors. In these different colors, to create a building block effect, it will automatically generate. Okay, let's take a look at the gradient below. Gradients are actually very simple. Which is a transition of a color. We start with red and choose the color, and end with black. OK, now we choose speed 5. And confirm, and then we'll preview its effect. First, we delete the previous part. There are more than 1,000 frames. Let's delete this part. OK, let's take a look at the gradient effect. It can be played directly. It's the transition settings. This is the effect of the interface. There are pull curtains and push, scan lines, random fast, and so on. Let's not introduce them separately. Let's take a look at the random fast function. So we clear this effect. So we generate a random fast. What about random fast? The background color is the black we selected. Here, we can choose a random one. The so-called random. Is the color generated by the color block? It's colorful, which is generated randomly by the computer. For the number of blocks, we should choose 5. The size of the color block is 4. These can all be adjusted by your CS level. We can choose 255. Here, it's from 5 to 200. The brightest is 200 or 255. The darkest is 0. We can set it like this. The number of generated frames can generate 1000 frames. The random color block can be a circle or a square. Let's choose a circle. OK, let's generate it now. This is what we see. And the color block is automatically generated. It's irregular in the entire effect, in different areas, to randomly generate some color blocks. Effect. Here are a few more details to note. The first one is our hand-drawn function. In our manual operation interface, there is a hand-drawn function. When we turn on this hand-drawn function, there will be an option for brush stroke. When it's opened, there will be an option, a width from 1 to 10. OK, let's take a look. What do these values of the width mean? Let's choose a single color. OK, we are currently at 1. OK, let's start clicking. Hold down the left mouse button and don't let go. Click a point and drag it backward. This is the width we see. You can only copy one at a time. That grid. OK, let's set it to 4. Let's try it again. At this time, width will become a basic. The larger the width value, the wider the brush will be. Let's look at 10. It's 10 units wide. OK, let's take a look at this brush stroke again. Every line we just drew, let's take a look again. It will turn into an animation. OK, let's play it to see. Every stitch it passes through, there will be an animation. Each stitch is independent. When each stitch is flowing, we can clearly see the trajectory it has drawn. It becomes a hand-drawn function. So this hand-drawn function can be used to outline the edges of colorful luminous words. Let's take a look. Let's set it to 2. Okay, let's see how to handle it. Let's do 1. Select a color. It can be white or green. Let's deal with it. Select a position and do a quick change. Let's do a demonstration. Okay, let's take a look. It's like a border effect. We are operating step by step. While doing this function, let's take a look at another one. Here is a single color. We can choose this one. The color palette. Or this kind of color palette. When we choose this color palette, every time we draw, every stroke, its flowing effect, we can widen it a bit. Let's see how it looks. See, its color is not pure color. It is a transition value along the color wheel, and then make a color value flow. And this setting, we can set it independently or choose from it. So let's take a look at the overall effect. Look, the color is starting to change. This is a way of color flow. Okay, this is a general function of our hand-drawn. Okay, let's take a look again. When we are doing this effect, first, if we do the border, we need to pay special attention to the second point. We must set the grid size at this place. Before designing the animation, we must set the grid size. If we want a more delicate effect, the more precise our grid is, the better the effect will be. Let's try again. When we set it to 2 grids, let's see the effect again. Okay, let's choose monochrome. At this time, the position of each pixel point corresponding to each grid, this will become very accurate. Of course, we can set it to 1, but the smaller the value, the finer the effect will be. The flow speed will also become slower, because when each grid transitions, the longer it will take. Because of time, we won't do it. The production of each entire stroke, let's just make 1. We'll make an area. Okay, let's take a look. Whether the streamline edge, the streamline effect will become very clear. Okay, let's look at the third issue. Is that if we are making such a grid, when designing the picture, if we have this one shape, map of that position, then our grid will be very clear. Let's take a look at, if we don't have such a map, we create a new controller and set it as a matrix. Let's take a look again. In this matrix case, the animation effect we made, see, it can tell where its grid is located, which is our pixel map, which is the position of the displayed shape. But if we want to customize the animation effect and program in design, we do it like this. We move the position of a pixel slightly. Okay, let's take a look at the background and the copy grid. The pixel grid is still very obvious. So when you use it, you should also pay attention. When it comes to this detail, don't think the grid is very right and neat than the one behind us. The pixel point or that position, the position of the pixel map will be unclear. So sometimes we will move it a little bit. Make a distinction. Finally, when we are editing, there is another detail here. Here we have a play and a pause. If we click the play button, the effects we do, let's say I do a stroke, and change it to a hand-drawn. Let's take a look again. Let's make it wider, and change it to white. Or, there will be a little frame skipping. See? We should pay special attention to this. Before we do the animation, we must set the play bar, must be selected, and press the pause button. At this time, we can do the effect. Let's take a look again. See, it will be very smooth. Let's first look at the previous part. It keeps jumping because the playback is turned on. Sometimes the needle, it will start to jump by itself. If we turn it off, the last part becomes very smooth. This one is the last thing we need to pay attention to. When editing the animation, you must turn on the pause. To edit the animation, actually, there is another detail that we often use. That is, such as making a flowing effect or a push effect. Okay, so if we say, in this push effect, for example, we have a total of 183 frames. Right, we want to insert another effect at the 30th frame. We want to insert another effect here. For example, when we are on the third frame, some animations. We insert some animations in the middle area and insert some animations. Let's change the material. In this area, we insert some flowing water. Have you noticed? We can insert animations in the middle. Finally, when this effect reaches frame 183, at the end, we can see that there is nothing in front of it. When we get here, the animation is inserted. We can use this drag position of the drag bar to confirm the position of each frame, and then insert the previous animation to insert some other effects you want inside, and then it becomes an insertion action. It can be partial or the whole. Okay, these are the 5 points we need to pay attention to.